The day after my mother's funeral, my father handed me a black trash bag and said, "You have until sunset." Inside that bag was supposed to be my entire childhood, 22 years of memories, reduced to whatever I could fit before the locks changed. But here's what he didn't know. My mom had prepared for this exact moment, and 3 years later, the look on his face when he realized what she'd done, that's the part nobody sees coming. Let me take you back 6 months before she died. My mom was sitting at the kitchen table with her lawyer, not our family lawyer, a new one I'd never seen before. I was grabbing coffee before heading to work when she called me over. "Sweetheart," she said, "I need you to witness something." Her hands were shaking as she signed document after document. I didn't understand why at the time. She was only 54, just diagnosed, and we all thought she'd beat it. My father wasn't home that day. He was never home during those final months. Said he couldn't handle seeing her like that. What he could handle, apparently, was meeting with financial advisors behind her back. I found the statements later. He'd already moved money around, contacted real estate agents about the house, even looked into overseas accounts. While she was going through chemotherapy, he was preparing for her death like it was a business opportunity. The inheritance wasn't just family money. My mom had built a tech startup in the early 2000s, sold it before the market crashed, and quietly invested for 2 decades. The house alone was worth $4.2 million, fully paid off. She'd told me bits and pieces over the years, but my father? She'd stopped discussing finances with him around the time I turned 16. I didn't know why then. I do now. Here's what happens when one parent dies in most states. If there's no will specifying otherwise, everything goes to the surviving spouse automatically. It's called intestate succession, and it's designed to protect families. Except, it assumes the surviving spouse has everyone's best interests at heart. My father had the marriage certificate, the death certificate, and within 72 hours, he had control of everything. The bank accounts, the investment portfolio, the property deed, all transferred seamlessly. So when he told me to pack my things, I had no legal recourse. I was 22, technically an adult, and he had every right to evict me from his house. His lawyers made that very clear. But my mom knew. She'd known for years. That meeting with the lawyer I'd witnessed, she wasn't just making a will, she was creating something called an irrevocable trust. And this is where it gets interesting. 3 days before she died, she transferred one very specific asset into my name alone, a rental property portfolio I didn't even know existed. 23 units across 2 states, generating $47,000 in monthly passive income. She'd been quietly building it since I was in high school, using income from her investments that she'd kept completely separate from their joint accounts. The paperwork was airtight. My father's lawyers tried for 6 months to challenge it, but since she'd made the transfer while still mentally competent and before her final hospitalization, there was nothing they could contest. She'd even had a psychiatric evaluation done the same day to document her sound mind. I spent my first night after being evicted in a hotel, crying over that trash bag of belongings, feeling completely abandoned. I didn't find out about the trust for another 3 weeks. Her lawyer had specific instructions not to contact me until after the estate settled. She wanted me to feel it first, to understand what my father was capable of without her, to learn that lesson while I was young enough to build a different kind of life. The monthly checks started arriving on what would have been her 55th birthday, and with them, a letter she'd written 2 years earlier. By the time you read this, you'll know who really loved you. Now go build something that matters.